Is it possible that a side piece can help elongate a marriage?
Side pieces aren't the answer to a marriage. Communication that you need a side piece is the answer to your marriage.
There's likely a lot of women out there who do not know that what's keeping their relationships alive is the fact that there's another woman holding your nigga down.
The reason why it helps their marriage is because they take all the stress and they get it jammed into that side.
That's a very vivid image. Go ahead, girl.
Speaking about getting your freak on, did y'all see the thing with Paul Pierce, right? Because he was talking about how allegedly he was talking to a friend of his, and his friend was telling him how a side piece helped to save his marriage or elongate his marriage, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, that's what's up. And I guess it was like, are we brave enough to have this conversation? Because is it possible that a side piece, something on the side, can help strengthen or even help save or, I guess, minimally elongate a marriage? What are y'all thoughts on that? Paul Pierce is talking his talk. Truth after dark is what he calls it. Are y'all going to be honest or not?
I don't know. I do kind of want to keep my teaching job till this other stuff works out. So I don't know, Nick. How honest can I be? So
75 with LS Confessions. I got you. You're right.
Exactly.
This is where you want to be careful, right? I got you.
Well, listen, if they watching LS Confessions and they about that life, and I don't know why you're judging me. Like, I don't even know how you found that. But anyway, back to this. First, I think the question is, what do you call a marriage? If you call a marriage staying married, then he's probably right. Now, it's kind of like having a car. Sorry, S&M. But if you have a car, I know she used to hate those car analogies. You can get the basic model. It's still a car. The Toyota Corolla, whatever. I'm just thinking about when I was a kid and I was looking for cars. Toyota Corolla, base model, cool, right? Or you can get the windows with electricity. You can get all the other bells and whistles. So what I'm saying is his level of marriage, it may have helped him maintain that. But you said elongate, which sounds like it didn't, they're not still going. So whatever the problems were, it didn't solve all the problems. So if the goal is to stay in to a certain extent, then I guess that works. Side pieces aren't the answer to a marriage. Communication that you need a side piece is the answer to your marriage.
Okay. So I was going to say that I thought this was some excuses. I felt like right off the back when he said the side piece helped him elongate his marriage, and noticing that he still ended up being divorced, meaning that you should have left then, sir. Why did you stay? You should have left. But on the other hand, I, being who I am, i.e. a person who asks questions, I decided to go ask some questions pertaining to this just for random, not even recognizing we were going to talk about this. And apparently the side piece is the reason why it helps their marriage is because they take all the stress that technically can't go home with them and they get it jammed into that side piece, right? Through various mechanisms for jamming purposes.
That's a very vivid image. Go ahead, girl.
And so then they can go home and handle the stress supposedly at home because now they've released themselves in another avenue, another venue, which is less stressful to them. So they come home and they're able to deal with the family situation. And so therefore they feel like that side piece. And this includes for women who have side dudes. They feel like this has also helped them in their relationship because it helped them maintain the civility that they want to have towards their spouse, even though they wanted to slap the shit out of them, or in some cases choke them out apparently, or whatever. For some reason, I always go to physical harm. I'm kind of figuring that part out. But anyways, so all this to say is that I still think it's an excuse. I agree with Jay here that we should just have communication and communicate, because if you feel like you need to maintain a side dude or a side chick to maintain the relationship, then that means there's a lack of communication in that relationship and your needs are not being met. So why not have a conversation about your needs being met? Some folks will say that, well, we can't have that conversation. That's why I got a side dude or a side chick, because I can't have that conversation. Duh. And I will say this. I would say, dang, that's messed up. You might want to get some therapy or leave the relationship. Or if it is working, we have LS Confessions on here. So go ahead and change your lifestyle. Have an open conversation about what's happening here. And maybe perhaps you never know what can come out of it.
You know, it's fun. Like, yeah. Thank you for leaving nothing except for the truth on the table, right? Because
The truth.
like, oh, well, just talk to your partner about it and you guys can draw a conclusion, or hey, just leave your relationship. Like, if it was that fucking easy, then yeah, everybody would take options A through E that you outlined in like a perfect fucking world, right? Y'all leave out the context of what's being said without being said, right? In terms of whether or not a side piece can help save, elongate, or whatever a marriage. Now, the first question has to start with who's being asked that question, right? If it's a guy who says that, you have to ask him, well, why would you say that? And and it's likely he'll say some of the things that y'all said, like, hey, this person provides me a safe place for me to do my thug fizzle, yada, 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 right? And you're like, well, why don't you just have that conversation? Well, I did try to have that conversation. Apparently that wasn't going anywhere, okay? Well, why don't you go to therapy? I've been going to therapy, right? But practically speaking, it maybe makes sense for me to stay my black ass here because it's cheaper to keep her. I got kids with her. So of course I don't want to disrupt my household. And so I got to figure out how do I like get the thread the needle basically of my life to have some existence to where I can still feel valued and enjoy myself, right? Because that same guy who's the engine or the protector or the provider or whatever the fuck has to somehow fulfill himself because he's most likely with somebody who's a selfish narcissist. You know what I'm saying? And so meanwhile, he's like, yo, I just want somebody to value me for me, right? To a certain extent. Rub me on the back. Say, baby, it's going to be okay. So cool. If that brother feels like he has to have a little something to hold him down, then so be it, so be it. Okay? There are likely a lot of women, in all seriousness, there's likely a lot of women out there who do not know that what's keeping their relationships alive is the fact that there's another woman holding your nigga down. Okay, we got to tell the truth and shame the devil. Okay, and guess what? A lot of y'all would not know that, right? Because he still loves you, right? Meaning that he's out here doing his thug thizzle, but he's doing a good enough job of keeping it under wraps so that you don't know. Okay, the relationship has not deteriorated to the point where he stopped giving a fuck, right? Or to where you're fucking man. I'm telling the truth.
Just keep this same energy when the women get side dudes, even though that probably occur at a
Listen, man, I like when y'all women folks do that. I would dare some of y'all to do that shit. Y'all talk all that talk. You're not finna do that because y'all understand how imbalanced that is. And the risk of you not coming back in the relationship is higher because you'll accept him cheating and the likelihood of him doing the same is not the same. So please miss me with that. Y'all threaten that all the time. I know y'all cheat. But when y'all cheat, it's usually with motherfuckers y'all don't give a damn about. I dare y'all to talk that talk about somebody that you actually give a damn about. Okay, so excuse me. Back to the point that I was making. So, it's like I almost forgot
But
the
yet,
point.
33% of the mothers.
Which, huh?
I was going to make a comment that was shady. I was about to say there's about 30, you know how we have all these women who's coming up. I think they said about a 33% paternity test. Turns out you are not the father.
Oh,
Those
that's a
are
fact.
side dudes.
No,
Those are
it's
side
not.
dudes.
I hear what you're saying, and maybe that's the case, but you have to ask yourself, did they have a main dude to have a side dude in the first place? There's an argument that some of those women never had a main dude, that she was always having side dudes because that main dude never took her seriously. But that's not the, I mean, what are we talking about, right? We're talking about people who are in some level of value committed relationship, right? I remember when we was first on Clubhouse, there was one of my homegirls, and she was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind a side piece or a side chick being in the relationship. Now, granted, that's when it's all open and stuff. But the problem is that some of y'all can't be accountable enough and honest enough to know where you're falling short and appreciate some help in areas that you probably don't want to excel in. Let me say that again, right? If you know good and goddamn well you don't like sucking dick, right? And your man loves that shit, you do it per functionary, right? And maybe you get into a lull where you don't want to do this shit, right? Cool. And he decides to get his dick sucked by a bitch who enjoys doing it and makes him feel good about himself. Well, guess what? That's less stress on your fucking plate. You know what I'm saying? Why are you getting mad at the bitch? If anything, when you don't want to do it, hey, Barbara, that's how the call should really have gone. It should have taken the other woman calling the main woman. No, y'all bitches should have been talking from the beginning. Apparently, there was some shortfall here. And had y'all better managed to coordinate, then you wouldn't have been surprised. You would know where he'd be at or whatever. You have a direct line, and y'all can have like a schedule. You dig what I'm saying? What I'm saying is there's a lot of women out there who know good and goddamn well they're not meeting the needs and are going to still have a problem because he outsourced. You dig what I'm saying? So for me, I think if we reframe the whole side piece thing as, hey, there's a need that needs to be done. Listen, not all of us are good at accounting. It's a bunch of services that you can hire on a monthly basis to take care of your accounting. So it's okay to outsource, right? And maybe you guys are right. They should have that conversation. But the problem is a person has to be aware, has to be accountable, and has to be able to have that conversation. And so, the AAA. And sometimes that's not the case, okay? Because she don't be accountable, she don't be aware, and she probably don't even care for real, for real. And so meanwhile, you're stuck fending for yourself, trying to figure out how you get your needs met while still showing up to meet everyone else's needs. And so that's what I'm saying, okay? All that healthy shit I was talking was great. It sounds good. But in reality, there are some relationships that have been benefiting and will continue to benefit and probably could benefit from there being a side piece. And I feel like if women were not so damn selfish all the goddamn time, then maybe they'd be more open-minded to the conversations y'all want men to have with them. But men cannot have them with them because women are open-minded and they're selfish as fuck. But go ahead.
We run a disclaimer real quick because I think people need a refresher.
This is the pot calling kettle black a little bit, though, because we're talking about women being selfish. Dudes can't even stand the thought of another snake in their garden. They can't even stand the thought of it. So even if a woman wanted to have the side dude or whatever, men ain't ready for the conversation either.
But guess what, though? We'll give you our food when we don't really want to because we asked you if you want something to eat, but because you're selfish anyway and self-centered, even though you were thoughtful in the beginning, we'll still give you some of our food.
No,
right?
we ain't talking about the food.
No, what I'm saying is there are a bunch of other areas we're expected to give, and do, okay? What are you talking about? So one area that we don't want to share, hell yeah, we don't want to share. The amount of investment I have to put into your... Matter of fact, one of the other stories in the chat was I think men spent on average like $15,000 a year or something like that, dating and paying for the expenses and partially the bills of their significant others, right? So what are we talking about? There's no way that we're selfish. What's the number for the amount of money women spend on us, or the amount of time, right? Or the amount of pucker, or the amount of... Come on, man. What are we talking about here?
They rarely do studies on women. The focus tend to be always on men.
They do the studies. The studies have been done, and one just came out, and the study said women get married to save money. And men stay single to save money because the two things don't usually work out the other way. If a man gets married, he can stop trying to save as much money as he was saving when he was single, unless she's giving her money up, which we know nowadays in these new relationships, that's not really a take. There's no 50-50.
Didn't y'all say y'all the providers and the protectors? So then fucking provide.
Yeah, we didn't say that.
Y'all,
listen.
Hey, society says that men are the providers and the protectors, so provide. Why are you complaining about providing when y'all designated this role for yourself?
Society said barefoot and pregnant, but y'all don't be talking along with that no more.
But society did not say barefoot and
Besides,
pregnant.
who wants a dirty foot? But go ahead.
Really,
society did say women need to have birth, but it did not say barefoot and pregnant. That was interpretation. But to this day, it still say provide and protect, and with the key part being on the provision, the providing. And so I don't see a problem with the study. You're supposed to provide and protect, especially if she's your significant other, preferably marriage. However, if y'all just dating, that's a lot.
No, but listen, I mean, listen, right? Like, because where's the ROI? Right? Like the expectation for men to go out there and spend their hard-earned money to court. I'm not mad at that, right? Because I mean, I ain't gonna hold you. It's a beautiful moment. Like when you're in that courting phase, man, it's magical, especially y'all both vibing. So I get that, right? And anybody would be likely to want to pay for that. But what I'm saying is, over the course of time, it's a bad investment on your ROI. Like, what are you getting for that expenditure? And that's just another area that men have to spend money that women don't. So when y'all talk about equality, for example, right? Let's say y'all both making the same money at the same job. Well, guess what? Society says, hey, you have other responsibilities that maybe she doesn't have outside of kids, right? I'm talking about two adults without kids. So yes, she can go out there and have her rent in her apartment or whatever and live her life. But when she wants to go outside, it's likely that she may not have to pay for going outside, at least when she's in the company of a man who's trying to court her. Whereas that man who's whooping Panub, maybe in all the wrong paces, is going to have to come out the pocket. So if she's making 60, he got to make at least 75 in order to even be able to afford dating her, right? And I think these statistics are important because, like, if women cared about men, maybe they have a little bit more empathy, right? Maybe she'd go into her purse a little bit more. Maybe she'd say, you know what, because we are supposed to make the same amount of money, at least 1 out of 3 or 4 dates I'll put some money up so that he doesn't always have to pay all the time to make it seem like that's the only way that he can show me he's a provider and protector, right? You know what I mean? Women make it seem like, oh, you know what, baby, spend your money. I'm going to go ahead and save mine over here. You know what, ladies? I got y'all, right? For every date you don't pay, put $10 to the side. Right? And then one day, be like, hey, for the 50 days, I got $500. You know what I'm saying? Here you go, babe. You know what I mean? Do some shit like that to let me know in the dating phase that even though you expect me to spend all of my money and you're secretly going to be keeping your own money, rainy day fund, etc., that at least you thought enough about me to put a little something, something to the side so that I know that could be a us. I feel like that's great advice. Right?
Or side dudes. Hey, look, this is a way that side dudes can come into the conversation. Go ahead and get you multiple men to date. And then that way they can spread the wealth. And that way it won't be one guy putting $15,000 on whatever.
Okay,
He can spread the wealth. He can share it.
I'm glad you brought it back to the side dude, because what you're pointing out now is just the obvious point here. First off, Nick said, and I agree, you can't have a side dude if you don't have a main dude. Okay, that's first. So if you got 5 dudes, you don't have you just got 5 dudes, man. You don't have no side dudes.
That's called dating. Called dating.
Well, you're fucking more than one of them.
Right.
Well, go ahead.
It's called being a fuck girl. At least one. Is there a fuck girl? Is fuck girl a thing? Can fuck girl be a thing? Can we normalize fuck girls? If she got 5 dudes she dated at one time, can she be a fuck girl?
Only if she's having sex with all of them.
No, only if she's leading them on to think it could be more, right?
That's
how women define fuck boys.
That's right.
Now, men, we just call her a hoe. She's just fucking alive. Right?
Yeah.
But you want to call her a fuck girl.
I don't know stomachs. No, I'm just asking. So my other point here is, the other point that was brought up is men have to invest heavily when dating, courting, and when we finally lock it in. So yes, men can be a little extra sensitive. Somebody is dipping in on this who ain't chipped in on this.
Yes, that's a fact. That's a fact.
See that S&M?
Yeah. And listen, I'll say this too on behalf
That's why you should put a ring on it.
The Side Niggas Association. Listen, a long time ago, I was recruited by some special ops people from the Side Niggas Infantry, right? Like, these were a group of elite niggas whose main job was to ensure that women who were married stay married. Right? Because we understood that it was important for women to stay married to a relationship. That ass. It was like our way of doing something, to give back to the Black community. It's like if the Black Panthers had like a version today where it's like, hey, how can we, because we know women do cheat. Let's be honest, we do know that. And so my job at the time, my mission was to help her stay married. So it was just about dropping off some good peen. And really it was about listening. Right? The key skill of any side dude really is all about being attentive, being able to listen, right? And comfort for the most part, right? And so, you kind of hone those skills. But it's not about taking her away from her husband. Like, we're not trying to, take her away from her family. Because again, we understand the importance of Black family. See, that's the problem when it's women who are side pieces, because they want to be home wreckers, right? You rarely hear home wreckers applied to side dudes. You know why? Because side dudes know their position. Right? We're not trying to break up the home. No, sis, do not leave your husband, because really we may not even have what you need over here fully, but all we have is this peen, and that seems to be good enough. So let's just keep it where it works out for the both of us, right? And that's, I think, side brothers do not get enough credit, right? Especially when we talk about this whole thing about keeping relationships going, because for the right woman, that side dude is keeping her engaged, is providing a certain level of relief. And so for my brothers out there who know they're not dropping off some good dick, haven't dropped off some good dick in a while, shorty comes home and she's feeling really good about herself, it wasn't just a good day at the job, my guy. It wasn't. You know what I'm saying? A nigga like me was making sure that she came home.
Wait, is this a confession episode?
His DMs are gonna blow up.
Listen, I'm not gonna hold you. Dead ass. I'm telling you the truth when I tell my glasses, right? Just knowing that I was doing that for that family just meant a lot to me. Even when I was a juvenile, like a young person just out here wilding, I still had that sense of family, And so when I was dropping off that peen, I thought to myself, she wasn't getting it, and she deserved it. She worked really hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was a sweet, kind person. So it was like, why should she be denied? And so I feel like side niggas don't get enough appreciation in this conversation. I know we always think about it in the lens of like side chicks or whatever, but honestly, those brothers do a valiant job. I know it's hard for men to give them credit, but listen, we get it. You're welcome. You know what I'm saying?
Not a shout out to all the community D in the world. You got community pools.
Whoa, don't
now
do
you
that,
got community
Jay.
D.
Just because a brother's a side dude doesn't mean he's community D, my brother. Don't do that.
Are you sure? Because that D is for the community. Are you sure?
No.
It seems like community D by definition.
I can see. I can see you've never really been like that. No one that guy didn't come to you, right? So you were not recruited. Okay, got it.
No, they didn't come to me. They did not come to me. I was not the side ninja. I have not. No.
Because there's a certain level of empathy as a side dude that you have to have. Like you have to understand where she's coming from, right? Beyond yourself and beyond one's ego, right? And so, like when you understand where women's coming from, no, because like for example, right? You might meet one woman, maybe you work with her, right? You weren't thinking about becoming a side dude. I mean, I wasn't, right? Until I got recruited. But like, okay, cool, right? And then all of a sudden, y'all kicking it, y'all vibing, you're hearing her stories, you're having empathy for her. You know what I mean? You see how wonderful she is. You feel me? And you're like, damn, he treating you like that for real. And you can really mean it, bro. And so there are some, but you learn how to pull back the emotion. But my point is that you don't got to be community dick to be a side dude. You just so happen, just like a woman who might be a side piece. It doesn't mean she was a hoe. It doesn't mean that she was fucking a bunch of dudes. It might have meant that she met the right dude. And it was like, hey, I'm open-minded in this situation, and you're so awesome. So yeah, so we gotta be, just be careful. It's not the same thing. Okay.
Hey, I was just asking questions, trying to get it right.
What you say?
No, I was like, I feel like whoever you was dating as the side dude doing this community service was a cougar or something, because you said in the workplace she was married, and so I'm like, was she a cougar? Like, what's the? I want to hear more for some strange reason, but at the same time, I'm also scared to hear more.
Now, she was a little bit older, you know what I mean? And I do think, to be honest, if we're really thinking about like the whole side dude situation, it typically happens around that age range, right? Even Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, who's not married, was talking about some dude in the age gap between her and him, right? So I feel like women get to an age where they feel more comfortable with a younger brother who has the vigor, the virality to really give them what they feel like is missing, right? Or to provide that level of excitement to them. And so, again, like it's a job that goes just really unsung. But, I feel like, at the end of the day, shout out to all of us who've kept a lot of marriages together. And I just kind of feel like it's important that in this segment, in this conversation, we give those brothers some love, right?